Hey, welcome back, guys. My name is Asian Psycho, and today it's going to be one of those commentaries, ones that I just sit down and just talk about random things that are in my mind. And I don't know if a lot of you guys even care to listen to these or not, but hopefully some of you guys find these entertaining. But whatever. In any case, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll quickly make this commentary, and hopefully some people will listen to it. So, today what I want to talk about is what I think is going to be one of the more controversial things I'll ever talk about or discuss on this channel, or on the internet in general. But in any case, what I want to talk about was like how nationality kind of you know dictates the way we think. I don't really know. This is very difficult for me to explain, and the only way I feel like I can kind of explain this in a very, well, I don't want to say clear, but at least in a better way, is by giving you one of some experiences that I've had in some recent times. So, as you guys probably know, I play a lot of Daisy. Daisy, I've gotten into it. My friend's protagonist first got me into it back in last summer vacation, and I bought Daisy. I bought Arma 2 and Arma CO, and I hopped on with my friends, and we had a good time, and I got hooked on it ever since. And even though my friends, including protagonists, have basically stopped playing DayZ because now we're all in school now, and they don't really have time for that. I still kept playing, and I still kept having fun with it and whatever. So, just the other day, I was going around finding chopper crash sites, looting them and whatnot, and putting them in my house because I like collecting stuff. That's one of the main things I like about DayZ, the fact that you can go around and stash shit inside your bases, inside your buildings, or your houses rather, and just have something to call your own collection, whatnot. I feel like that really appeals to me for some reason. I really like loot hoarding and whatnot, and I might be if I don't let me get into World of Warcraft. Oh my god. Anyways. So, after that, the other day I went around doing that, and by the end of it, because I had to go do some other work and stuff like that, so I asked the other people on the server, like, hey, anyone want a free chopper, because I don't really need this anymore. And one guy said, like, oh yeah, we'll take one. So I'm like, okay, cool, where are you at? So I can fly over to you and, give you this chopper here. And he's like, oh, I'm into Polka, because if you guys don't know, I play a lot of DayZ Origins. That's the main mod that I play, and the map that Origins usually is on, which I don't really know if it's on any other map, is called Taviana. It's a little bit different from Chernarus, for those guys who do play DayZ as well. So the map locations, or the name locations, it could be a little bit different. So he said that, oh, we're down to Polka, which was a really long flight away, so it took me about a good 5-10 minutes to fly over there, because he was not really that fast, and it can only have a top speed of like 210 kilometers an hour. So, yeah. But in any case, the main thing, the focal point of this, the whole anecdote, is when I did get there. I landed down on the beach because the town Topolka is located on the beach. Touched down on the beach and waited for the guy to head to my chopper. And then I noticed that he had a guy with him, which he didn't really mention. And I was like, okay, so you got a buddy over there. Is he gonna come in or not? So he's like, oh, no, don't worry, just wait. And then finally, after waiting for a couple minutes, I was about to leave. He was like, no, stay. I was like, okay, what's the hold up? He comes over. He finally does come over. I'm like, okay, finally, let's get out of here. And go over to my base so I can go to my base first, and you guys can fly off. But I didn't tell him that though, because you'll see why in a second. So his buddy comes over, and then he walks up to the flight. He walks the flight plan. Now, two things tell me what is about to happen. First, he's a female bandit, or his buddy's a female bandit. That's one of the main triggers that, oh yeah, something bad about to happen. Second of all, he's got a DMR, and most of the time, if you see someone with a DMR, you automatically assume you're absolutely fucked in the ass if you don't know that guy already. If you run into a guy you don't even know, you're not working with, and he's got a DMR, either you need to kill him first before he sees you, or if he does sees you, you better hope he's a really bad shot. Typically speaking, though, people who have DMRs typically aren't bad shots to begin with. So yeah, he had a DMR and he's a bandit. And the third, I forgot to mention there's a third thing as well. The third thing is he walked up, he ran up right to the right out to me, right out to the pilot's side of my Huey, right up there. And you can guess what happened. Boom, 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 3 shots and I'm dead. Usually it only takes like one shot from anything to the head will finish you off, even from Makarov. So I mean, the amount of bullets that he put into me, it was honestly quite kind of overkill. I think he damaged the hot chopper that way, which, to be fair, was understandable because you never know what goes on with Daisy. Maybe people don't die in one shot, but as far as I'm concerned, those people are absolute dickwads. Now, the thing about this kind of anecdote is, like, you're wondering, like, okay, so what the hell does it have anything to do with what you mentioned earlier in this video? Like, well, you said that you wanted to talk about how nationality dictates, like, personality or whatever, so what the hell's going on? The background story of this, the catch to this, is that I think that I'm very certain that the guy and his buddy who killed me, I'm very sure that they were Russian. Now, this commentary is not meant to offend Russians anyway. I know Russians are cool people. I like them. I like everyone. I'm not racist, or I hope I'm not. And I certainly don't want to carry myself in a way that I feel I am superior to any sort of race in particular. Though, if you know me to that point, I have no problem in doing so. But if I'm unaggravated and I don't have a reason to hate you, then I don't have a problem with what kind of nationality you are. But in instances like these and other things I've seen, not just in game in the game of DayZ Origins or whatever thing I do, just I don't know. It's very hard to explain. It's experiences that has seen on the internet, which obviously is not a very good idea in general. I mean, you shouldn't really base your perceptions on purely what you've seen over the internet because, hell, there's a lot of people who act like trolls and assholes on the internet. So, forming an opinion off a particular group of people just from what you've seen off the internet is obviously not a very good thing to do. But even then, even while I say that, I would be lying to you if I said that I still wouldn't think about. I haven't considered the fact that certain there are certain things that nationality, like what kind of race you are, dictates kind of the way you behave. Now, the reason why I say this is not another reason why I say this is because if you look at like sporting teams, in the world of soccer or or football as the rest of the world calls it, because I'm freaking American. Americans are fucking stupid. You know, especially soccer. Soccer is the pinnacle example of this. You see, lots of countries around the world root for their own countries. As with the World Cup coming up next year, you can definitely see that people throughout the world will just cheer for their own teams. I mean, of course, it's just natural, right? It's a World Cup, and it's a national thing, or it's an international thing. So obviously, people of one country will obviously root for the team that their country, their own country's team. That just makes sense. But if you look at other examples, such as maybe, let's see, boxing or like MMA fighting, or like professional fighting in that sense, you'll notice that countries outside of the United States, typically people cheer for their own country's athlete or fighter or whoever. Whereas in America, you'll notice that not everyone's gang rallying around the same guy. Possibly it's because America produces a lot of athletes, so Americans like to pick and choose. Maybe, for example, I don't know, but you typically see that, and you typically see this kind of behavior where a lot of people, most people outside the United States, typically cheer for their own country. Like they have a very distinct national pride, so to speak. You also see this kind of behavior in stuff like video games, where for example, Xbox versus the PlayStation. People from Japan, because the PlayStation is mainly manufactured in Japan, they prefer the PlayStation, even if for example the Xbox were to be better than the PlayStation. The Japanese will still pick the PlayStation, because you know why? That's their country's product, and they want to support their country. Xbox is, I'm pretty sure, an American product, right? So I mean, it's not that the Japanese people hate America or anything, or I hope they don't, because if that's the case, then that kind of sucks. I mean, America did do a lot of bad things to them during World War II, but that aside, historical jokes aside, you know, Japanese people will play the PlayStation because that's their country's product, and they want to support their country. And over here in America, it's I don't know if it's half and half. Of course, you can't quote me on that because I'm not a console expert. But it's pretty clear that there is a distinct divide between people who like the Xbox and people who like the PlayStation. And there's a lot of people who like both. Hey, there's even those kinds of people. So it just makes me very curious as to what makes America or this is gonna sound very awkward, but it makes me very curious as to why I see that Americans tend to be very opinionated and very divided, so to speak. I'm not trying to say it in a bad context, but there's a lot of varied opinions among Americans. Whereas if you go abroad to other countries that aren't America, a lot of the time, the people will come to agreement that they'll be united in one around one concept, one person, one thing, whatever it may be. And kind of ironic too, because hey, we're the United States, right? But it's just kind of curious to me. And going back to my DayZ anecdote, I don't know. It's the reason why I pointed out the fact that those people who killed me, who basically pulled a douchebag move on me, were Russian, is because on the Origin server that I play on, during nighttime, during a specific part of the day, typically it's around like very late night, early morning, very very early for me, like fucking midnight to like 4 a.m. in the morning, or whatever. During that time frame, that's when in Russia it's people are awake or over there, so they play during that time. And there are a lot of Russians on the server that I usually play on. And typically it doesn't seem like they're a very friendly bunch. I see them going around killing a lot of people in Origins. So, why is that? I don't know. Maybe it's because, I don't know. Why did they kill me in particular? Because I'm just trying to help them. If anyone in there, of course, you could see me as very arrogant for saying this, but anyone in their right mind would, not kill the guy who's feeding. No one would bite the hand that's feeding them. I'm giving them a free chopper that they never had to fix up scrounge materials for themselves and fix up themselves, right? They never had to go around finding a chopper to fix up, and then spending like a couple hours for the materials necessary to fix it up and refuel it and whatnot. They never had to do that. So what would cause them to kill the person who spent so much time in essentially getting them this chopper, when they never had to work for it at all? I mean, being a douchebag in a game is one thing. It's one thing. DayZ is a very ruthless game, and I kind of understand that. And to be honest, I don't really care that they did that, because I'm trying to lose humanity. I'm trying to lose humanity, become a bandit eventually, because I'm a level 3 hero. It's gonna take me a long time. So any progression towards losing humanity would help. But even still, it kind of bums you out. If you spend so much work, getting this thing, so for example a chopper in DayZ, and then when you try to be nice to someone and you give it to them and they turn around and fuck you in the ass, for basically no apparent reason other than to just get another kill. You know, I don't know. I just can't help but notice the fact that they were Russian. Again, this is not meant to go out to any. This is not meant to call out Russians in general. You know, I'm not trying to start a fucking race war here. That's not really not what I want to do. It's just that, you know, typically speaking, like, you see the same problem or, I can't call it a problem. It just makes me sound like a really bad person. You see this kind of thing in combat arms as well. You know, there's a lot of Mexicans who play combat arms, and, you know, I have nothing against Mexicans, but, you know, for those guys who have played combat arms, you can notice that, you know, they are very talkative, and they are, you know, very lively, to put it in that sense. And I don't say this to be racist, even though I probably do sound like one, or I sound like I am. But, you know, one can't help but to notice that, you know, some Mexicans out there are not friendly. You know, they type in all caps, they pass off as complete douchebags, and I feel like that's basically the same if you carry over to Daisy Origins, or it's just my experience anyway. You know, it's, again, I would like to reiterate the fact that this is not meant to call out anyone in general or anyone in particular, but it's just what I've noticed. I just felt like bringing it up because, you know, recent events have really got me thinking about this. So, you know, it's just a very interesting thing to me. The fact that certain nationality groups tend to behave a certain way. I've noticed that the Russians on the Daisy server that I play on, like I mentioned before, typically don't do very nice things to other people in Daisy. Even though, you know, there are some cool people, I'm sure that there are Russian players on Daisy who are cool and don't go around absolutely killing everyone they see. You know, but most of the time they're not very friendly. You know, most of the time they like to keep to themselves. They don't like talking with other people. It's a very exclusive thing, I feel. And, you know, looking at this kind of issue from a very general perspective, you know, one could argue that this is a very true statement. You know, how should I say this? Americans tend to, you know, have a very divided opinion. You know, we are very opinionated, but we're very open to other things. You know, again, these are very general statements. I'm just generalizing things here. This doesn't necessarily have to pertain to everyone, but, you know, Americans, in my opinion, from what I've seen, from my experience, or from my perspective anyway, Americans tend to have a lot of opinions, but at the very least, they're very open, they're very flexible, they're very open-minded to other people. And, you know, if we want to, we are a lot more ready to cooperate with other people than, you know, other races are. You know, typically speaking, you know, you see, like, because I play on a German Daisy Origin server, typically you see Germans working with, you know, other German players, and Russians playing with other Russian players. Whereas the Americans, we don't really care who we work with. I work with some Belgian dudes. I work with some British dudes. I work with anyone. You know, I work with other American dudes. You know, I don't know. I just can't help but to kind of point that out. You know, so again, it can be a very good thing or a bad thing, you know. America, very opinionated, but very flexible, open. You know, bad thing is that we as Americans probably won't agree upon one particular thing unless it's really important, like, you know, the World Cup of the soccer final, World Cup soccer finals, whatever, or you know, something very important. But whereas with other countries, like international countries, like especially European countries, or, you know, South American countries, you notice that their people, those kinds of people, are very united. You know, they love working with each other, whereas, you know, Americans probably not so much. But those kinds of people love working with each other. They're very united, and you know, they will readily gather around, you know, together around the same cause that pertains directly with their own nation. However, because of that kind of mentality, they're not very open to other things. It's very difficult for them to open up, so to speak, and kind of get over language barriers or nationality barriers, and be willing to work with other people. So again, this situation kind of has a pro and a con to it. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not trying to call anyone out. It's just something that I just wanted to talk about, and it's just something that I wanted to bring up because I found it was very interesting. So let me know what you guys think about this. Again, I thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd bring it up. So thanks for watching, or thanks for listening rather, and we'll see you guys later.